Hey guys, Snowscalor here. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing some actual heat treat. I know I've been saying I've been meaning to do this video for a while, but I just haven't, okay? So we've got ourselves our forge here, which is starting to fall apart, but okay, that's fine. And this is roughly all the gear you're going to need. I'm just going to run through it. You're going to need some kind of hand protection because your hands are basically going to be on fire. You're going to want a magnet. This is just for me because it's a nice sunny day. Hello, sun. It's a nice sunny day. I won't be able to see if it's glowing red or not. If I was doing this with an oxyacetylene torch in a dark area, it'd be easy, but I'm not, so I use a magnet. Fire lighters, get the fire started. Some wood, because wood is always useful. And this is basically the equivalent of my forging tongs, because I don't have any. So it's an old pair of pipe cricks or Stilsons, whatever you want to call them, the bolt to stop them slipping down because they were broken. And of course got my forge here, nice coal, leftovers pretty much. I'm just using bits of wood to prop this up because it keeps falling out. And hairdryer, extension lead connected to the shed. Quenching. I'm doing a two-part quench for this one just because I tried it before on a knife I was doing the other day. I did end up over-tempering it and pretty much breaking the knife altogether. But the hardening worked really well. So basically you quench for about 2 to 1.5 seconds in this, and then you finish the quench in this. You end up with a really steep cooling curve, but then finish it off really softly in it's just some canola oil, which I find really worked well. So yeah, that was good. We can go ahead, fire up the forge, and then we can start doing some fun heat treating stuff. So let's go ahead and do it. So as you can see, now is about the right time when you see that nice glowing bit in the center of the coals there. When you see that, you know it's roughly about time. You need to judge how big it is though in comparison to the knife. That's always useful, because if you're heat treating something like you know, a sword or a machete or something like that, you need quite a big heart area. Because I'm only doing a kind of survival knife thing today that's only about as long as this, it's not going to be particularly important to have a massive heart. And it's getting really windy now. I'm going to have to probably move it in a minute. But yeah, it's also starting to rain, which isn't great, but I'm going to try and get it done before that. As you can see, I've put a load of kind of this stuff in. That just needed to be burned because our house has been doing some cutting down of various things, so that's always helpful. Anyway, let's check the knife in and get it hot. So I'm gonna go get in the knife for a second, then we'll start heating it up. It's just about ready. Not quite, but it's just about there. So I'm going to set up for quenching now. Pretty much ready, just a little bit on the base. Then we are good. Grab my magnet. Right, we are good. I'm going to leave it in there for just another 5 seconds, then we'll quench. Get a good grip on it, I would. Right, so 1. Just give it a move, dissipate all that heat. And then we let it go in the oil. And that's everything. Let's check for the hardness. Well then, there's the knife. I've just cleaned it off with a rag just to get all the oil off it, because believe me, it's nasty stuff if it gets everywhere. And yeah, as you can probably hear, all of the knife, all the way up to the spine, has hardened to some degree. Admittedly, the spine has hardened less than the blade edge, which is which is fine. I'm alright with that. And if you listen to the difference in sound, that was the back edge that hasn't hardened, and then this. That is more of a biting, that is more of a skating. So that is the quenching portion, and give me 1 second to find something and I will prove something to you. This is the knife I heat treated the other day. This is a cleaver. I was kind of experimenting. It wasn't a particularly well done blade anyway. I mean, it was okay, but I never really put my heart and soul into it, you know. It was that much longer. It was came out to about there. And, well, let's just say, when I hardened it, there was an ever so slight warp in it. So I thought, you know, it's a great idea. I'll put it in my vise and just try and bend it. So it went, kung, and then half of it stayed in there. And the other half, well, came with it. So I tried to grind it down and then save it, but the handle was way too long and this bit was way too short for what I wanted to do with it. I wanted to make a meat cleaver. Wasn't great. And then when I tempered it, I lost concentration for a bit and over-tempered the blade because I temper in the forge, not in an oven most of the time. I'll be doing this one in an oven just because, well, why not? I mean, we have solar panels now, so, I mean, the only issue with me doing it in the oven before was because it cost so much for what it actually is. So I didn't really do it. I tried to get other alternative means in. But since we've got solar panels, I mean, I'll just try and fit it in and not spend too much. This one, this is why it's in this. This is my box with various things written on it. I have unusable, work in progress, and okay as in cello. This is in the unusable pile. This one, also another thing you have to check for is warps. This, you can't really see very well, but it hasn't warped. I don't know how well you can see that, but I can see it hasn't warped, and what's important really, hasn't warped. That's a good thing. Way too hard to be a knife at this point, so we're going to go temper it down. I'm going to be using an oven at 180 degrees, I think, for 1 hour, and then you're doing 2 of those cycles. So that's 2 hours, but you take it out and let the knife cool down in between. This is because you take out a lot of the stress in the knife then. Because at the moment it's pretty stressed at this point, it's pretty hard, pretty brittle. It's like your mum when she gets home from work and you haven't done anything, you know, any jobs or anything. It's the equivalent of that. So it's pretty annoyed, you know. It's viable to just snap and not cook your tea and go up and play Farmville for the entire day. So we're going to try and cool it down. So we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to give it a nice hot bath in the oven, where we're going to have 2 of those cycles, as I said. And the reason you take it out is to just calm it down, just chill it out in between. You're bringing it a coffee in between the baths, you know. So, God, what even are my analogies? They're terrible. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the quenching. It's pretty easy to do if you've got... Dog, away from the forge, please. Nasty stuff. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do if you've got all the right kit. If not, you can use anything. I'll just go see what other alternatives you could use, possibly. You could use this. I wouldn't recommend using this because this is incredibly expensive to start with. This is too localized, and you would really struggle to get the whole blade hot. You'd need at least 2 of them. So I wouldn't recommend this at all. So it's kind of forge or nothing, essentially. You could use 2 of them. I'm not poo-pooing that idea if you've already got it. An oxyacetylene torch, that'd probably work as well, because it's ever so slightly hotter than butane, because they use it for welding and such. So you could use that, and this clip's getting really long actually, so I'm going to go and do some tempering. So I'll see you all up there. Right, so it's in there, as you probably can't see. My camera's probably messed it up, but anyway, it's gone in, yeah, roughly now. So just roughly remember when you should take it out. It'll be in 2 hours' time, be about 4:30. That will ensure a pretty good temper. I'm doing it at 200 instead of 180 to leave slightly less brittle than I would normally. So, because this is kind of a survival knife, so it'll have to do some chopping, it'll have to do a lot of tasks, so leave it on the softer side as a general rule of thumb, instead of tempering it for at 180 for 40 minutes, well, for 2 40-minute cycles. That leaves it quite brittle. That's kind of like a hunting knife slash whittling knife type thing, and it's not really what appropriate for this knife. I'll probably later on in the video talk about the different kind of tempering cycles and what kind of thing you should put with them. So if you're tempering a hunting knife, roughly do this. Whittling knife, roughly do this. Chopping knife, roughly do this. Stuff like that. Jack of all trades. You're probably better off doing chopping one as well, because if it's going to be doing anything, it'll be doing chopping at some point if it's a heavy knife. So yeah, that's roughly it. I can't really say any more than that, and yeah, just have to wait 2 hours and then we're done. So see you in 2 hours. For everyone who didn't really understand what heat treating is really about or anything like that, here's a clip of me hitting some steel with a hammer really hard. There you go, I've hit it. Are you happy now? Jeez, I think my voice broke there. I don't even know what this is. I think it's just a bit of... It was an old kitchen knife or something like that. Whatever. This is my excuse at forging anyway. Anyway, let's go see if the knives are done then. So that is the knife out after its first temper cycle. It's still really hot, so I'm not going to touch it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it on the side to cool quickly, then it can go in for another one. And what has the chef been cooking today? That looks nicely tempered. That nice gold colour you're seeing, that is the colour the grain goes as it's shrinking. As when you quench it, all you're doing is heating it up. The bonds between the metallic bonds between all of the perfectly arranged atoms, I want to say, I'm going to call them atoms, in this, and then they just kind of do their own thing then. They're hot, they do their own thing. They just bomb around, have a bit of fun. Then, when you quench it, you force them all back into that, but it's in this grain structure, so they kind of go in boxes almost. Boxes, but they're almost offset boxes. They look like plant cells, if you've ever seen them. Still up. And I don't know why the colour changes actually. If you have a look right at the back, that's blue. Because that's just the colour steel goes when, you know, the minimal hardness that's at the back goes, and it's very easy for it to go then because, well, there's not a lot of hardness in it. So this is now all at the same hardness pretty much here. Here it could be anything, sorry, but this is all roughly the same. And the grain should be all a uniform size, which is nice. So this is technically a working knife now. I still haven't given it its secondary bevel yet, but this is a working knife, and that is pretty much the basics of heat treatment. So I think I better wrap the video up there, because I don't really have anything else to say about the heat treatment. So, well, I hope you found this interesting, because I certainly did researching it, sort of research. I know about perlite, martensite and ferrite. I know there are stages for steel, Martensite's the hard one. Perlite and ferrite, they're the really soft ones. Don't know what stage this one's at, somewhere in between. So I know something, don't know a hell of a lot though. I hope you can forgive me for that. So yeah, I think I'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys in the next video, but let me know if you enjoy these, where I kind of talk about what goes into making knives and the kind of knowledge around it, opposed to actually making them. I do make knives, I make a hell of a lot of knives. But just whether you want to see this side of it is up to you, basically. So just let me know if you enjoyed this, and yeah, give me a shout in the comments. I'm feeling very lonely at the moment. Not a lot of people are commenting, so I've got no friends. I live in I don't know, rural Bangladesh. So the internet is my dad on a bike that powers the internet. So but please, just drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, generic YouTuber stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video then. Bye bye.